Another huge night for Resident Evil as we had brand new gameplay, brand new information, historical data on a lost Resident Evil 9, and the confirmation that an iconic character is not returning. What is up everybody, Andy here from the Residents of Evil, and let's enter the survival horror once again with Resident Evil Requiem. The Capcom Spotlight was a short stream with the developers of RE9, going over various details about the upcoming title. The developers described Requiem as a game built around a single idea, a fear that clings like darkness. They're focusing on that raw, instinctive terror that makes you sweat, panic and feel alive when you can barely survive. And that release, when you finally overcome it, they say that moment is the true high of survival horror lives. That's why they're chasing it with Requiem. Now let's talk about the new lead, Grace Ashcroft, an FBI agent who's not your typical Resident Evil protagonist. She's introverted, kind of a loner, and yes, she's scared. But that's the point. Grace isn't Leon, she isn't Chris. She's someone who's experiencing fear at the same level as we are as players. But don't get it twisted, she's trained, smart and capable. The devs said they wanted someone who grows throughout the game, and if the trailer's anything to go by, Grace is going to go through hell. One of the coolest things confirmed, you can switch between first person and third person views anytime. First person is all about immersion, that up close fear RE7 did so well. Third person gives you that over the shoulder clarity for fans of Resident Evil 2 Remake or RE4. It's a smart move, catering to both styles without compromising the experience. Fun fact, Leon S. Kennedy was actually considered to be the lead at one point, but the devs dropped him. Why? Because Leon jumping at shadows just doesn't fit, and they're right. Leon's too seasoned, too cool, the guy's seen it all. A zombie bucket won't make him flinch. The disconnect would have ruined the horror tone, so instead we get Grace, someone who can be vulnerable, and that's what makes her compelling. However, I'm not sure I completely buy into this one. It would be a shame not to have an iconic character return to Raccoon City, where it all began. Them specifically mentioning Leon makes me think it's a bit of a ruse. They mention no other character except the single character that every insider has referenced to date. Sure, they could be shutting down speculation, but I think it's more complex than that. Let me know what you guys think. The game isn't just scary, it's visually brutal. The team went deep in on gore, lighting and realism. They even brought in wig experts to study how hair reacts under stress and movement, and then simulated that in CG. That's the level of detail we're talking about. Grace gets wrecked in this game. The dev said you'll see her bloodied, dangling upside down and pushed to her limits. This is going to be an intense ride. Outside of these, the developers shared a special video on the Resident Evil portal, a lot of it supporting the previously available information and some concept art. But the big takeaway is confirmation that Resident Evil 9 started as a multiplayer game but was scrapped. They said an open world multiplayer direction is not what the community wanted to see, so they returned to horror. So now we know. The rumours were true. Resident Evil 9 was meant to be an open world multiplayer game at some point. So what do you guys think? Is Grace Ashcroft the fresh new face the series needs? And do you like the idea of a fear-focused Resident Evil that closes the book on Raccoon City's legacy? Let us know in the comments. If you're hyped for Requiem, hit that like button and subscribe for more Resident Evil coverage right here at the Residents of Evil.